We are back with another edition of K&E Theater Group's Local Spotlight series. I'm really excited about today's guest. I feel like I say that all the time, but the people we've had on it are just so wonderful. So I'm excited. Today's guest is one of my favorites. She is a little ball of fire, and I cannot wait to bring her on. But first, just a quick little thing. If you are on Facebook and you feel like donating to K&E Theater Group to help us bring our supersized 2021 season to fruition, you can click on the link in the comment section below, which is our PayPal link. If you're not on Facebook, you're on IGTV or our YouTube channel, or you want to donate later, you can go to our website, which is ketg.org. Click on Support KETG and donate there. I'm really excited to bring on one of my friends. I love her. This is Kathy Renaud. Hi, Kathy.
Eddie! Eddie! Oh my God, that was today? I'm so, hang on, I'm so sorry.
I'll give you a second.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that was today. Hang on.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I did not expect that.
Okay.
There you
Hi.
are. Hello, beautiful.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Local Spotlight series.
Of course.
I'm
happy to see you.
We're going to jump right in.
Okay.
So tell everyone, this is the same question I ask everyone to start. Tell us your theatrical timeline, where you started and where you are now and all the fun stuff in between.
Oh my God. You got a little bit of time?
You got a good, 2, 4, 6 hours?
Okay, my goodness. Well, my parents knew that, oh boy, she's got to be on stage for sure. Because I think I was like, I don't know, maybe 4 years old, maybe 3 or 4 years old. Well, first of all, my mother was a performer.
Oh, really?
She did USO shows.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was a tap dancer. And she actually tap danced on a drum. She would tap dance on a drum, yep. And, comedian, my mother had the best comedic timing in the world. She could tell a joke and just like, my mother was just amazing at telling stories and jokes and, so yeah. I always said I want to be just like her when I grow up. So
and here you are. Here you are.
So, but the one thing she did is she impersonated old-time movie stars. That's how she would announce it when that's what she was going to do. But at home, she used to play this record. It was an actual vinyl record of a time that she had been in a show to rehearse, to keep the words fresh and to rehearse and everything. And here I was, this little toddler around the house, listening to that all the time, listening to the record all the time with her while she was rehearsing. So my father belonged to an American Legion, and he was doing this like a little talent show or whatever for all the, the people that belong to the American Legion. And of course he had me in there singing, I'm a little teapot or, something like that or whatever. And my mother had already done her act. She had already done her impersonations, big applause and everything. And then I come out with my I'm a little teapot, and everybody stood up. And everybody was clapping and encore. And I'm like, oh my God, I was like loving it so much. I was like, I almost can even still remember that feeling 100 years ago. But all of a sudden I said, well, I don't have any other songs to sing. So I guess I'll do my impersonations just like my mother. And I went and did her act that she had just done verbatim. All the stars I did: Mae West, Zazu Pitts, Ned Sparks, Jimmy Cagney, like people that I was like 3 or 4 years old. There's no way I knew Katharine Hepburn, different people that I had but I guess I did them very well because for years and years later, as I went on into the business, my mother always told that story, and her ending was always that was the last time I did my impersonations, but it wasn't the last time she did them. She did them forever. And I did do them a lot in talent shows and things like that. It went on and on forever. But it turned into other things. I mean, I always have liked music and singing, and musical theater, of course, was my first love, and always what I wanted to do. If I were to do it professionally, that's what I would want to be, in a musical. So that is what I, really pursued. And I went into the business. I did actually pursue it. And my mother would travel with me. I was one of those kids, Music Man, The Sound of Music, one of those, whatever show had a musical that had a kid in it. I was traveling doing it, and my mom was just, oh my God, she just went right along with me, and she traveled with me and everything like that. One of the main highlights of my younger life is I was off Broadway in The Miracle Worker. I was Helen Keller. Wow. And that was quite an incredible experience. And it got sold to Broadway. And this tells you about the business, though. So many things happen for people out there that are trying to get in the business. You're going down one path and you're thinking, oh my God, this is happening. And then something happens where, either a legal side of it or something doesn't work out, or you get another part or whatever that is. And it was them trying to produce it legally and so forth. And they were like, oh, it'll be 2 years max, maybe. That'll, as long as it will take to do the legal jargon to get it on Broadway. And I don't know, I think The Miracle Worker didn't go to Broadway until 10 years ago or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
A while.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it took all that time, and obviously I wasn't playing Helen Keller anymore 10 years ago. Unless the audience was blind instead of me, maybe.
Oh my God. You should watch, have you ever seen the YouTube of the Miracle Worker where the girl plays Helen Keller and she falls right off the stage?
No.
And she feels her way back up.
Oh no.
Just keeps going. Keeps going.
Oh my gosh.
So
oh my gosh.
After Miracle Worker and all of that, what next?
Yeah. Well, I did a little more traveling. Wait Until Dark. Did Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater in Jupiter, Florida. I did Wait Until Dark. That was amazing. And then I stopped for a little while. I came home. I was a senior in high school, and I started being like, you know what? I want to be a senior in high school. I want, because I was always being on the road schooled or whatever. And for some reason, I stopped for a little bit. And I took a little time off, about 10, maybe 12 years, maybe off. And then I started doing theater around here.
Okay.
Encore Players. People probably remember Encore Players from way back when.
I think I know.
And yeah, they were around for a while. And of course, my friend and yours, Louis Manzi, I was in shows with him. And when we did Nonsense here, he and Michael Wark and me and Christine, and we all did Nonsense together. And that's when the three of us decided, you know what, we're moving to New York. That's it. We're moving to New York. Wow. Oh, but before then, in the meantime, by the way, I got married and so forth. So that was the other thing that was kind of keeping me here, because that David Renaud would keep you here for sure. And, but he was so supportive. David was like, you know what, up on that stage is where you shine. You should go.
You do shine.
And there I was with my two best buds moving to New York City. So there I was. We were in New York, and Michael and Louis both pursued other things when we first got there. They weren't doing theater. I was the only one. I was like, wow, this is crazy, but that's okay. And the thing that happened for me in New York is my niche that I found. So I auditioned for musical theater right away. I mean, that's really what I wanted. Even though the Miracle Worker kind of solidified like some of my contacts in New York and everything. Mm-hmm. Even though that was a straight play and that did, really well for me, musical theater was still like my heart. It was still like what and audition. And standing out in the freezing cold down the street at 46th Street there and waiting for your time and everything. And the producers would come and they would type out the line. You know what that is? Typing out, right? Oh, yeah. I know you do. Yeah. So typing out is you don't look right for the part. You don't look right for part. Right? Yep. And so many actresses hated that because they were so convinced that if I just get in there and sing, I'm going to get this part or whatever, but I loved it when they typed out because for me, 4'8" a little hard to cast sometimes.
Right.
And when I was younger and going for that lead role, that ingenue role or whatever, or whatever. Now that I'm playing grandmas, it works. But, then it was, so typing out was fine with me. All right, I'll go home and go back to bed. That's all right with me.
That's how I felt.
But I did really want musical theater. But what happened from that is casting directors were noticing my speaking voice and my voice. And someone kept saying to me, you should do voiceovers. Why don't you do voiceovers? And I would, no, I want to do musical theater, And then finally it was like, you know what? I should probably, look into this. Everybody's saying it to me. I probably should try it out. So I started going to voiceover auditions. And boy, things took off for me then. I did Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel. I was Edgar Beaver in a pilot called Inspector Badger.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Then a video on the internet of Spinner the Space Kid. Right. And Wonder Pets. Did some episodes of Wonder Pets. So that was really nice. And I had one campaign where I was the hand at the Hamburger Helper, which was nice. So, yes. So it was going along and it was doing really well for me. I was really happy. And while I was doing that, I was also the other niche that I found because of being a 4'8" person was standing in for children in movies. Every movie, all the big actors have a stand-in.
Right.
And they do camera angles and lighting. That's what they do. So they don't get filmed or anything. They're just there for the rehearsals and for camera angles and lighting. And kids, my size especially, can't work all the hours that adults can. So they have the kid stand in for the lighting, the everything, and then when it's time to film, boom, the kid comes in and does his or her thing.
That's amazing.
So I worked continuously. I worked pretty continuously all the time. I did 7 years actually on the TV show Law and Order.
Wow.
Which was wonderful. So anytime you see a kid in an episode from way back when, in the 90s, I'm in the background there somewhere probably too. They used to use me in the background too. And then I did 3 years on a TV show, Hope and Faith, with Kelly Ripa. I was the little boy, stood in for the little boy in that one. And what's nice about that is adult stand-ins normally just come in for camera angle and lighting. But because kids can't work that many hours, I used to get to do the rehearsals also. They would use me for the rehearsals with the main stars. So that was nice. It was wonderful. And then let's see what happened then. Oh, what brought me home? Mom. Mom brought me home.
Of course.
She wasn't feeling good, and it was time for me to come home and take care of her. So I came home, and during this time when I was in New York, so my husband stayed here in the house, and I lived in New York City. So we only saw each other on the weekends. And we did that for 10 years. 10 years.
Wow.
Yep. And that was, yeah. So when I came home to take care of Mom, it was kind of nice living here with David, and he was helping with Mom too. And so it was nice. And then once Mom passed, I decided that I needed to get back involved in community theater or something. She would have wanted me to keep singing and be involved.
Oh, yeah.
So I started getting involved in community theater here again. And Exit 7 was home for a while. I did great things with Exit 7, Titanic, Jekyll and Hyde, which you saw me in at first.
I did.
Right?
Yes.
Right? And then Thoroughly Modern Millie, and 9 to 5, Jesus Christ Superstar with Paul and Melissa and Paula.
You've done everything.
And yeah. Oh, and Addams Family.
Grandma.
Yeah, Grandma.
So
there I am from 4 years old to Grandma.
That's amazing, though. And you had talked about how Helen Keller has been like your favorite experience as an actor.
Yeah, because it was yeah.
What about musical theater? Like, what's your favorite performance as far as musical theater goes?
Well, I really love Thoroughly Modern Millie. I really do. Muzzy Van Housemere. It's just, this is what happened with it. I was with a dear friend. Well, she's a dear friend now. We hadn't acted together until then. Pat Haynes. I'm sure you know that name.
Oh, yes.
And when we did Thoroughly Modern Millie together, oh my God, to play on stage with her is absolutely amazing. And each night there was an ending scene that we did, and we improv'd it every night almost. So it was different almost every night. And it just was, it was just so fun to play. Really fun to play. Yeah. And another one that I did around here that I really liked, and it was with Hamden Theater Guild, is On the 20th Century. Letitia Primrose. And if you've seen On the 20th Century, they sing a song about me called She's a Nut. So I was typecast. Marquise typecast me.
Now, Kathy, you talk about Helen Keller, who that's a dramatic role. And then you have Muzzy from Millie, which is very comedic.
Yeah.
So what's the difference in prepping for a comedic role compared to a dramatic role?
I go about them somewhat the same way, to be honest with you, because they're so, you have to decide where you are in the scene, what makes the scene tick, what part of the scene you are in it. The only thing different about comedic roles is timing, I think, more. I guess there's timing in both of them, really. But sometimes a comedic role, a nice big pause could make the difference over something being funny or not.
Do you find comedic pauses to be instinctual?
I think so.
Yeah, you just feel when it's time?
I think so, yeah.
I like that.
I don't know. Well, I watched my mom all those years, right? So I guess maybe. I don't know.
It's an inherited trait.
Yeah.
So we're moving to the performance section of our interview, and I just am so excited about this. Can you introduce your song?
Absolutely. Well, it's called A House Like Many Others.
Okay.
And it's by John Kavanagh. Now, a lot of people might not know that name, or they do. If they do, they need to text me and tell me how to find him. Because A House Like Many Others was found at a time where I had been accepted to do a cabaret symposium at the Eugene O'Neill Cabaret Symposium in Waterford, Connecticut. It's a week-long symposium where you're immersed in like all cabaret music and the way to put on a cabaret show and so forth. And you get some paperwork beforehand about what their expectations are of you and so forth. And one of the things was a dramatic song. And I was like, I don't do that. I normally do funny, silly songs, big, loud songs. Normally is what I do. So at my vocal coach, Andrew Cook, my vocal coach at the time in New York, I said to him, I said, I need a song. I need a nice, slow, not a comedic song, but something, dramatic. And he had this big stack of music, and it was almost like he pulled a needle out of a haystack. He was like, oh, how about this? And he goes, it's by John Kavanaugh. And I'm like, oh, because that was the other thing, the Cabaret Symposium, you had to do this. You had to set up the song and say where it was from. And, and I'm like, well, John Kavanaugh. Oh, they'll know. He's a cabaret person. He did all, music all the time. And I'm like, okay. He played the song and I just fell in love. I just really, it really spoke to me a lot, the song.
Well, we're very excited to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the amazing Kathy Renaud.
It was a house like many others, built on a street with many more. It had a porch, a light, a mailbox, and a mat by the door. The house was brick and trimmed with siding, and there were shutters painted black. It had a tree that filled the front yard, a pole for basketball out back, and there were lots of kids who lived there, and even one who looked like me. But there was nothing really different, not that anyone could see. But still this house, like many others, though not so grand or great or tall, was really nothing like the others at all. It was the only one with you there. It was the only one with Dad. And that is something that no other house on our street had. And there were snowball fights and baseball, and there was music night and day. There was a feeling we all felt then that has never gone away. But still this house, like many others, was not unusual, it's true. It was the family who lived there. It was the love we always knew. It was a house, the house I dream of still, because of Dad and you.
That was wonderful. Your connection and your moments. I'm so happy that people are getting to see that, because, you know, Kathy that people know and have seen on stage are Grandma and Muzzy, and Roz in 9 to 5, and it's these big comedic roles. So I'm so happy that we get to see this other side of you with that song. It was beautiful. So I wanted to talk about your creative process here, but because we talked about your comedic and how you approach a comedic and a dramatic role earlier, I just want to know how you could tap into, what was your process, and how did you tap into the song you just sang?
Oh, well, that song really just meant so much to me. At the time when Andrew found it, I had lost my dad, and it was a song that really meant so much to me. It seemed like it was about him. On the music, if you look at the top of the music, John Kavanaugh says, "For Mom." But that song was about my dad for me, you know, and for my mother. It was her favorite. I mean, anytime there was anything, she'd say, "Oh, sing A House Like Many Others. Please sing A House Like Many Others." So to now sing it for both of them just really means so much to me.
You
So
can see it.
that's the creative process on that song.
I mean, but isn't that most things, most pieces? You always try to bring parts of yourself into it,
Yourself, absolutely.
to recreate and feel those emotions.
Right.
You can absolutely see as you were singing the song that some word or phrase in the song popped into your mind, and the imagery started, and it was beautiful. So thank you for bringing that to us. So now my next question for you, as someone who has been through the business, what is the best advice you were given?
Oh, that was given to me.
Yes.
Well, you're a piece of a puzzle. That's what somebody told me once. You're a piece of a puzzle. And I was having a hard time about the audition process for a little while. And it's so hard out there, guys. I'm telling you sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so another actor said to me, it was actually a teacher, when you are a piece of a puzzle, you're maybe not right for this puzzle right now, but you're a good piece of a puzzle. You're going to be right for the next puzzle. So that's okay if you don't make it into this puzzle. You're a good piece of puzzle, and you're going to make it into the next one. And when you get in that one, then you're all a whole piece of a puzzle, one puzzle.
Yeah.
So you're all together.
Like when you're a kid and you've got like the shapes, like you have the triangle hole, the circle hole, and the square hole, and you're trying to get that square peg into the circle hole. Yeah. That doesn't work.
No.
You'll be able to fit in one at some point. That's true.
Right.
That's great advice.
That's right.
Now,
it's not that, I'm bad or no, it's just that's not the piece of the puzzle you're part of right now. That's all.
I mean, that's great advice to be given. So now if say I was say I was coming to you and I was just out of college for theater and I was like, I'm moving to New York, Kathy. Now's the time. Here we go. What's the one thing you want to give to tell me advice-wise that I can take? What would that be?
Wow. Be seen. Like, be in things. Don't be picky. I know sometimes you think, oh, I just want to be the lead or, whatever. I mean, just be seen in things because you can be the lead in that role that you got. I mean, you, a long time ago, so that you noticed me, I was in a smaller part in a show, and you talked to somebody else about me, noticed me in a smaller part to have me do the Amazing Santa race, right?
Yes.
So you just have to be seen. And that brings me back to the voiceover stuff. I was auditioning for musical theater, and people were saying, you should do voiceover. And then once I did, boom, it took off. So be seen in things and always be kind.
Yes.
And generous. And I don't mean money-wise generous. I mean generous with, if you put a hand up to get some help, you should put another hand down to help somebody else. That's the way you should always be.
I love that. That's something for life. I love that. So
we all have to, because you know what? If your friend, be happy if they've got something or they're in something or they got that part that maybe you wanted or whatever, but they're in there and they're doing it and they're continuing to have the business go, maybe keep a community theater going or whatever, so that next time that role that you're going to be right for, then you'll do it and you'll be continuously working and doing for the next person who's coming along.
That's very true.
So it's good to, feel grateful.
So we're gonna close out the interview with the same question I've asked everybody. What draws you to live theater?
Oh, the excitement, the energy, it just takes you back. Theater, that energy that you have. Well, I'm going to do two. For an audience member, well, I guess for an audience member and an actor, it could be the same answer. That energy and that connection that you feel all together and so forth. And for an audience member, you get transported into that space and time. And you can laugh or you can cry, but you're transported back into that time of whenever that play was or that place, or if they're taking you at a different era or a different place or country or whatever. And as far as an actor, to be on stage with other human beings that you put your trust into, and you're on that tightrope, and your camaraderie and your friendship that you make with these people, you put your whole trust in them that, hey, we're going to go on this ride together. We're going to make this good. We're going to make this right. No matter what happens on stage, live theater, right?
That's very true.
It's almost like that trust ball. You're like, I got your back and you got mine, right?
That's a fantastic answer. I love that answer. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
I
was real honored to. Oh, I wanted to say something about the song one more time, too.
Sure.
I wanted to thank my friend Mark Cloutier for doing the music, because he just picked it up real quick for me and did it really. And I just really wanted to say thank you to him.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Well, Kathy, this has been wonderful. I love you. And thank you for joining us.
I'm so proud you asked me to. Thank you.
Good night. Kathy Renaud. She is just, she's what doing theater is all about. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here on the Local Spotlight series. Just a reminder, during the pandemic, all of our theaters right now are struggling, including K&E Theater Group. We did have to cancel our entire 2020 season, but we're looking to bring you a supersized 2021 season, which we're very excited about. And what that means is, well, we need donations. So if you are inclined, please click on the PayPal link down in the comment section here on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you're on IGTV or YouTube channel, or you want to, donate later because you just are like, oh, feel the spirit, I'm ready. You can always go to our website, ketg.org, click on Support KETG, and click the Donate button. My name is Eddie Zitka. I'm the Artistic Director of K&E Theater Group, and I am enjoying my time with you every Tuesday and Friday and getting to know a little bit about the theatrical personalities in our community. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.